Hey everyone, Dave here. Thanks so much for being part of our Romans 12 study. We're coming to the end of our study here, but there's one passage we still haven't studied yet. But we're going to look at it really briefly, then I want to share some closing thoughts with you. This comes from Romans chapter 12, starting in verse 17. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink, for by doing so you will heap burning coals on his head. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. It's kind of a weird passage, right? Like, it says a couple of weird things in there. Like, listen, don't be vengeful. Don't go and attack someone. Let God take care of that. And you know what? Be really kind so that you can annoy them, like putting coals on their head, stuff like that. It's not really language that we use all that often. But you know what Paul is saying there in that passage? He's saying, hey, look at those around you. If you sincerely love God, then even the people who are around you, you're going to care for them and love them. In fact, you're not going to be interested in all at avenging whatever wrongdoing they did to you. But instead, you're going to trust that God is working in their life. You see, a lot of times people read that passage and they think, you know what? Someone hurt my feelings. I'm not going to hurt their feelings because God's going to do that. That's not what Paul's talking about. What Paul is talking about in this passage is the simple fact that we need to trust God. Trust that God is at work in their life just like he's at work in my life. Think about that for a minute. Think about someone you don't like, someone who you might count as your enemy. Is God at work in your life? I think we all want to say yes. We all hope that God is at work in life, in each of our lives. But what did you do to earn it? If you couldn't earn it, then certainly they're not earning it either. But if God is still at work in your life, then he must be at work in their life. So, love your enemies and trust that God is doing his thing to reach them and to pour his life out into their life. Now, the rest of this passage kind of speaks the same way. It says, hey, be kind. If you sincerely love God, be kind to one another. And that's what all of Romans 12 is really about. If we are sincere about our love for God because we believe that he sincerely loves us, then we change. And so I hope that you've experienced that as you've taken a look at Romans 12. I hope you've been encouraged by the fact that God has shown us mercy so that we can be changed, so that our mind can be transformed, that the way we view ourselves, no longer as broken and perfect people, but as God's children. That's a wonderful transformation and change. I hope that you've discovered how God has placed you in a community with other believers who love you and care for you and want to see you know God. This transformation that God offers to each of us is unbelievable, and he's invited us into it. Not because we're good people, but because he loves us and shows us his grace. So may you live into his transforming work.